Is artificial intelligence the next dot-com bubble, or the beginning of a genuine technological revolution? That question is no longer being asked only by technologists. It is being asked by investors, executives, economists, and skeptics, watching hundreds of billions of dollars move into chips, data centers, cloud contracts, and model companies. The debate is emotionally charged because both sides can point to something real. AI tools are improving quickly. Businesses are experimenting at scale. Some companies are already making money, but the financial market around AI is also moving with unusual speed, unusual concentration, and unusually large expectations. That is why the question deserves a careful answer instead of a slogan. Calling everything a bubble ignores the genuine progress. Calling everything a revolution ignores the possibility that investors are paying too much for progress that may take longer than expected to monetize. The most important distinction is this: the technology story and the investment story are related, but they are not the same thing. A technology can be useful and still be overvalued. A market can be overheated even when the underlying invention is real. The internet was real in 1999. Railroads were real in the 19th century. Both changed the world. But in both cases, capital sometimes arrived faster than sustainable returns. The pattern is familiar. A new technology appears, early results are impressive, investors extrapolate the growth curve forward, and eventually the market has to separate durable businesses from fragile narratives. This does not make innovation less important. It makes discipline more important. In that sense, the debate is less about science fiction and more about accounting. Who pays, who earns, when the cash arrives, and whether the infrastructure being built now will be used enough to justify its cost. The skeptical case begins with capital expenditure. The AI build-out requires chips, power, cooling, land, fiber, memory, and enormous data centers. The spending can be counted now, while the payoff may arrive years later, if it arrives at all. This is the concern raised by well-known short sellers and skeptics, such as Jim Chanos. The supplier can recognize revenue when the chips are sold, while the buyer may carry the infrastructure cost over many years. That does not automatically mean something fraudulent is happening. It means the timing of profits and the timing of economic usefulness can be very different. In a build-out this large, the seller's good quarter can become the buyer's long-term obligation. The skeptic asks whether the second part of that equation is being examined with the same excitement as the first. This is why skeptics focus less on whether AI demos are impressive and more on whether customers are paying enough to justify the infrastructure. If companies spend hundreds of billions of dollars building capacity, but enterprise revenue grows more slowly, the system depends on future demand arriving on schedule. Goldman Sachs has framed this as the question of when the AI investment boom will actually pay off, with both bulls and skeptics agreeing that enterprise adoption is still early, complicated, and uneven. The skeptical view is not that AI has no value. It is that current investment may be assuming too much value too soon. If the infrastructure is underused, if inference costs remain high, or if customers resist higher prices, the gap between spending and monetization becomes harder to ignore. That is the sober version of the bubble argument. History shows a pattern. Bubbles often form around real technologies, not imaginary ones. Railroads reorganized trade and geography. The internet reorganized information and commerce. But the early investment cycles around transformative technologies can still become irrational because investors confuse the importance of an invention with the profitability of every company attached to it. During the dot-com bubble, the internet was genuinely revolutionary, yet many companies had little revenue, weak business models, and valuations based on future hopes rather than current fundamentals. The dot-com crash did not prove the internet was fake. It proved that markets can overpay for the first version of a real revolution. Investopedia summarizes the dot-com era as a rapid rise in technology valuations driven by heavy investment in internet companies with little or no profit, followed by a severe correction when funding dried up. The Nasdaq ultimately fell nearly 77% from its March 2000 peak to October 2002, but some survivors went on to become giants. That is the lesson. A bubble can destroy many investments while the underlying technology keeps advancing. The wreckage and the revolution can coexist. Investors may lose money in the same category where society later gains productivity, convenience, and new infrastructure. This is why historical comparisons should be used carefully. They do not predict an identical crash, but they do warn against confusing adoption with automatic profit. The believer case starts with something equally important. AI is not just a stock market story. The tools are genuinely useful. They can draft, summarize, translate, code, search documents, analyze data, generate media, assist customer support, and accelerate many knowledge work tasks. These capabilities are not theoretical. They are already inside software products, creative workflows, legal research, medical documentation, education tools, and enterprise operations. The output is imperfect and must be supervised, but the productivity gains can be real when the use case is narrow, the data is available, and the workflow is well designed. A lawyer summarizing discovery, a teacher adapting materials, a developer checking code, or a small business producing multilingual content may experience AI not as a market narrative, but as a practical tool that saves time. Believers also argue that this cycle is different because many of the leading AI beneficiaries are not empty shells. They are large, profitable companies with real customers, real cash flows, and existing infrastructure businesses. BlackRock has noted that current technology valuations, while elevated, are below dot-com extremes, and INSEAD faculty have made a similar point. Today's market is led more by cash flow machines than by newly listed companies with no earnings. That does not eliminate risk, but it makes the comparison to 2000 incomplete. The bull case is that AI is being embedded into platforms that already have distribution, enterprise relationships, billing systems, and developer ecosystems. In other words, the path from capability to product to revenue may be shorter for today's leaders than it was for many early internet companies. One difference is that much of the spending is going into infrastructure that may have multiple uses. A failed website from the dot-com era could disappear almost completely. A modern data center, by contrast, may still support cloud computing, enterprise applications, model inference, scientific workloads, or future forms of automation. That does not mean every project will earn an acceptable return. It means the physical assets are not always pure vapor. The debate is about price, scale, timing, and utilization. If demand keeps rising, today's data centers may become the foundation for new services. If demand disappoints, the same assets may become evidence of overbuilding. The physical reality of infrastructure does not settle the financial question by itself. This is why the most balanced view is uncomfortable. AI can be transformative and wasteful at the same time. It can improve productivity in some workflows while disappointing in others. It can create huge winners and also fund companies that should not exist. It can justify major infrastructure investment while still attracting capital to weak business models. The phrase, "this time's different," is dangerous when it becomes an excuse to ignore fundamentals. But it is also too simple to say every AI investment is just a replay of the dot-com bubble. The more useful question is where value is actually being captured. Is it captured by chip suppliers, cloud providers, model labs, application companies, or end users? Different answers produce very different investment outcomes. The first warning sign is circular deal-making. If a chip company invests in a model company, and the model company uses that capital to buy chips from the same supplier, the arrangement may still be legal and strategic, but it becomes harder to know how much demand is independent and how much is being financed by the ecosystem itself. Yale Som and INSAD, have both highlighted the concern that circular financing can blur the line between genuine end-user demand and demand created by the financial structure around the boom. The second warning sign is spending that grows much faster than revenue. The third is valuation expansion that depends on perfect execution far into the future. The fourth is weak willingness to pay. Companies may test AI tools enthusiastically, but the harder question is whether they will pay enough, at scale, to support the infrastructure already being built. Investors are beginning to ask a simple question: show me. Show me the productivity gains. Show me the margins. Show me the revenue. Show me that the data centers are being used profitably, not just built impressively. In a healthy technology cycle, enthusiasm eventually turns into operating evidence. In a bubble, enthusiasm keeps asking for more time, more capital, and more patience, while the measurable results remain just beyond the next funding round. So, is AI a bubble? The honest answer is that the truth is probably more nuanced than either extreme. The strongest skeptics are right to question spending, valuations, circular deals, and the gap between infrastructure investment and proven revenue. The strongest believers are right that AI capabilities are improving, that many use cases are real, and that today's leading companies are often financially stronger than the dot-com startups of 1999. The critical mistake is to confuse one question for another. AI adoption, AI usefulness, AI company profits, and AI stock valuations are four related but separate issues. A clear thinker keeps them separate because each one can move at a different speed. The question is not simply, is AI real? It is. The question is not simply, can AI create value? It can. The harder question is whether the market is pricing the timing, scale, and distribution of that value correctly. This is not financial advice. It is a framework for thinking clearly when technology, money, and belief begin to accelerate together. Whether or not this is a bubble, the technology underneath it is real. The question is whether the money chasing it matches what it can actually deliver today. Thank you for watching Mind Machine Atlas. Subscribe for more AI insight.